Should you train like Mike Mentzer and only do one set to failure? People have become like this Mike Mentzer high intensity evangelist, rushing to the comment section to shame anyone that dares speak against high intensity. But people have really lost the ability to have a nuanced conversation about this stuff. Mike Mentzer's approach to high intensity was obviously at the very extreme end of high intensity, just doing one set of everything to absolute failure and beyond, and then taking multiple days between training sessions. So it's literally the polar opposite of a higher volume approach. That doesn't mean it's representative of all high intensity training programs. You have other programs like Dante Trudell's DC training, which works with much more volume, a little bit more frequency, and a much more balanced approach while still being high intensity. So I would take something like that over Mike Mentzer's approach any day. And further, you have all these people rushing to comment section saying, well, I switched to Mike Mentzer's style and I started feeling way better and I got stronger and I started putting on muscle. Well, no shit. It's because most of you fall into one of three categories. One, you just have never trained that hard before, and now you finally have adopted a system that forces you to actually put forth maximum effort in the gym. Two, you were just doing way too much junk volume before, and you were in the gym 6 days a week for 2 hours a day. And now you're able to at least recover between sessions, which is allowing you to grow a little bit. Or three, maybe you're just new enough to the gym that just about anything structured with a good amount of effort is going to lead to results. There's always the fourth possibility that you just genetically, and by the way that you're made up, that training style is just superior for you. That's definitely possible, and some people thrive on high intensity. It is what it is. Another thing too is people look at Mike Mentzer and say, well, if he looked like that jacked by training that way, then there's got to be something to it. But understand that Mike Mentzer has genetics that you do not. He was squatting 500 pounds and overhead pressing 250 at 15 years old. Look at his physique as a teenager. He had freak genetics and he was on a shit ton of gear, obviously. That plays a part too. At the end of the day, I think it has value. I think high intensity in general has value. I just prefer a bit more of a balanced approach. I don't think Mike Mentzer's approach of one set to failure of everything is going to be adequate or even close to optimal for most people. But the only way you'll ever know is to actually give it an honest try for a few months and see what happens. As usual with training, there's no absolutes, man. What works for one person or what studies say works for people might be the opposite for you, and you'll never know until you try something out.